Welcome to Radio Fixer's channel. Subscribe for upcoming videos. This radio cabinet is absolutely beautiful. It looks identical to the Catalin radio, but it is actually made from polystyrene, an early petroleum-based plastic commonly used in 1950s radio. Polystyrene was lighter and cheaper than bakelite, but unfortunately it became much more fragile with age. The repair technique used here can also be applied to the Catalin cabinets. I highly recommend watching the earlier videos in this series. In those episodes with disassembled radio, inspect the electrical fire damage, document and identify parts on the schematics, replace paper capacitor and out-of-tolerance resistors, repair the multi-section electrolytic capacitor, and install new polarized power cord. To remove selenium rectifier, replace it with the diode, also the size of the resistor that we need to make this radio work. We also repaired the speaker as well. And to make your job easier to find all these videos per category, select playlist, and each categories are located right here. Also, I have added every tool product that I'm using in the description section of the video, so feel free to check it out. Let's get started. Alright, let's focus to see if I can build something like this right here. You remember this side was missing. So what I will do, let me show you what my plans are. I'm going to get a aluminum foil like this, which I'm going to add again in description. These are self-adhesive type. I already cut to a small piece. Now to remove this paper in the back, it's going to be pretty hard to do it. The easiest way, get a tape like this, put it right, not the aluminum side, the other side like that. Make sure you hold it pretty good, then stop peeling it off. That's really the easiest way, otherwise it takes you forever to do this. See, I'm going to cover the area which I do not want to sand. See how far this comes? So I'm going to bring it right here. So I'm going to cover this. You see what I'm doing, right? Like that. See, now I can sand this area, and I'm not going to come over this side. So I'm covering this to protect it. Alright, I'm going to do the other side as well. I'm going to protect the inside. I'm going to actually come a little lower. See? Because I'm going to sand here as well. I will show you. We protect this side. Left some area that I can sand again, and also here as well. Alright, so I'm going to get a small file like this. See that? Just take some shine off, because if it's shining like this, the epoxy might not work. Just take your time. You don't want to take too much, or just enough to get rid of the shine. You see that? See, it's not shiny anymore. You see how shiny it is here? Here is not. That's all you need to do, just a little bit, not too much. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do right here and here as well. Now I'm going to use a rubbing alcohol. It should be over 90%. With the cotton swab, of course, I'm going to clean this area very well. If any type of like a grease or anything like that, it will come off, so the epoxy can absorb much better. You want to wait until it dry, okay? I'm going to maybe clean it a couple of times. Now let it dry. Meanwhile it's drying, let me show you what I want to do. Alright, I got a straw like this. It can be any color, it doesn't need to be green, right? So I'm going to measure here. I'm going to cut it like here. See that? Now use the scissor, split it in the half. You see what I did? Hopefully you can see what I did. See? You see that? Because that's what I want right here. So let me tape both sides here as well as other. I can use this type of tape now. It's easier to control. See, I put the tape in the back. Alright. I don't want the epoxy get back here. I just want to get where I stand it. Alright, let's focus on cabinet. As you see, this side, as I discussed, is broken. This section was a section the capacitor caught on fire. You can see all the smokes here. You see that? See, the other side is total clear, but this side, due to the fire, it caused much of a smoke. Also, this is broken. So I need to repair this. Since the radio is going to sit right here, something need to be able to hold it, right? The radio is sliding right here. So the chassis is going to actually slide in right here. So I need to be able to repair this. So I'm going to clean this up first with soap and water. Somehow I'm going to try not to get water here in this. Then I have to use some type of epoxy to be able to rebuild this. Also, you see all these things, this broken, need to be fixed, that's broken, need to be fixed, this is broken, need to be fixed. These are where the screws actually hold the chassis inside this cabinet. So it needs some work. So let me get started from the cleaning here first. What I use this rotary tool, with some type of brush in the top. Again, I purchased this in Amazon. I'm going to put the information on description section, so feel free to check it out. It's a great price. It comes with tons of accessories like this brush. So what I did, I took this, of course, outside the house. So I removed some of the shines right around here, because this is where I'm going to put the epoxy. All this where the chassis actually going to screw into this cabinet. Even here, they all was broken. I'm going to use the rubbing alcohol, or of course with Q-tip. I'm going to clean it all area that I'm going to use epoxy. Alright, so I'm going to wait until it dry, then I can mix the epoxy and I start working in this cabinet. Let me share with you what's my plan. I need to build this up, right? So I got a piece of cardboard. I cut it, scissors in an angle like that. This will fit right here and just perfect like this. You see that? So I cut some aluminum foil because I don't want epoxy to stay to the cardboard, because later on I need to remove this. So I cut a small piece like that. I'm going to wrap this with this tin foil. Now I know the epoxy not going to stick with this, with aluminum. That's the thickness I need. This goes right here like that. Of course, I'm going to secure it. Alright, for this project, I'm going to use this product. I bought it in Amazon. I'm going to put the information and description of this video. Of course, this is epoxy clay. That there's a 2 parts. Already take a portion out. It's separate. There should be 1-to-1 ratio. I already heat this thing in microwave as description suggested. Now I'm going to mix them. Alright, so you want to mix them pretty good. You need to wear gloves for this job. Direction will explain exactly what you need to do. The good thing about this epoxy, you can form it like that. The other epoxy that I use, that is for different use, not for here. Of course, always I can cut the extra off. Again, you can form it the way you like to. Now you see why I put that cardboard there, right? It comes with a tool like this. I want to make it more flat. Alright, let's work on this. I'm going to lift this up like that. Now I'm going to roll that right over it like that. You see what I'm doing, right? I filled up inside the straw. Now I'm rolling it over. I'm going to take the extra off. Now I'm going to wait until it's totally dry, then do some sanding if it's necessary. We will see. Alright, this is sitting now for a couple of days. Let's start removing all this to see what the end result is. Of course, we're going to remove all this. Be very gentle with it, since this is very fragile. These foils really hold very well. Alright, let's remove this straw that we put here. You can just lift it up like that. See, it came off. Let's see if I can stain it close to this color. This is how it looked like here, this side. See, I was trying to get the cut like here. You have that cut. If you can't see it, it's here as well. Just need to go manually remove some more of this epoxy to be almost the same depth. But it's looking good. It's looking good. I'm happy with the results. Alright, let's continue. After letting it a few days to totally dry, I'm using file to fix all the area. Be very gentle with it. Alright, that should be good enough. The good thing about this product is you can file it, you can sand it, and since in this product you're not pouring it like the other epoxy, is actually you have to form it. So after it's totally dry, you have to let it several days to dry before do any of this. I'm gonna clean it up, then do some light sanding to make it smooth, so I'll be able to somehow stain all this. Get it as close to this color as possible. Is that doable? I don't know, but we can try, right? Also fix this as well. 1000 grade sandpaper to sand it pretty good. I use this file to remove all the extra and make sure actually it fit inside the radio, because it's supposed to be a certain way. You see there's like an angle. I have to make the same type of angle on this one. So after sanding it with about 1000 degree or so, make it pretty smooth as here, then I'm going to be able to stain it. Same thing here inside. See those two? This one I already did some touch up, you know, it's not bad at all. That was just a test. So all this, those three need to be sanded and stained. Here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this. I'm going to show you. Okay, let's work on the lead. Using this method, you can control how much color you're going to put on this. It's looking good. Yeah, definitely this method works much better. And let me show you how to fix the crack. I forgot to make this video to show you how to fix the cabinet for the cracks, but let me walk you through. You know, here there's a crack. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's right here. It's not that obvious. You know, of course I cannot fix it from this side, right? So the first thing I did, I got a tape. I taped it. It makes sure this is totally level. Then from inside I got a file like this. You see it's round. I went over the crack, removed some of the material out. I kept the dust that it came out. So I used this epoxy since it's clear. You know, this is part A and B. I mixed it and fill up that crack from inside. The good thing about this epoxy is, you know, you cannot even see it when it dry. When I add the epoxy, those dust that it comes out of the filing, I actually mixed it with epoxy and filled up this. So you cannot tell is this radio being repaired from inside. Yeah, I forgot to video that part. So all the cracks was fixed from inside the process that I shared with you. Hopefully that makes sense, all right? And let's disassemble the handle to this cabinet and polish the brass as well the handle itself. Okay, let's polish this thing, and also the handle as well. It's very interesting design, as you see. See that? The way they designed this is very interesting. Let's clean it up. Alright, I'm going to use this product. And this is the product I'm using to polish those brass. It works pretty well. Alright, all these things done. Now let's install them. Alright, this is installed. It's looking good. See, these two colors are so close to each other. You see that? Alright. This label was falling apart. I glued it first to the cabinet, let it dry. Then usually what I do, I use again the same glue, go over this paper. The reason I'm doing that, so all these labels can be preserved, for a long time. I actually did the same thing here. As you see how shiny it is, and you can read things much easier now. So usually use this glue, go over it, one coat, sometimes two coat. That will preserve it for a long, long time. As you see here, they did the same thing here. Now when I rub my hand over it, it's not going to be damaged, or if anything rub against it, it will not get damaged. That's why I'm going to glue this in the top and let it dry. Again, as I mentioned in my other videos, this glue, when it dries, is totally white, so you're not even going to see it. It makes the paper look much better, like this one, as you see. It's pretty simple. You can dilute this, add some water to this glue, not that much, enough. I don't want to be so thick. So it's pretty simple, really. I add some water to this, dilute it, because I don't want to be too thick. If it's too thick, it's very hard to lay it down. You can also add this to the container and add some water until you get comfortable how much water you need to add to this glue. So usually I shake it a little bit like that, and then use a paintbrush, go all over. As you see, I put one layer. I'm going to let it dry. When it dry, I will show it to you, okay? This is a couple of hours later. You see how nice it is now? You actually can read them like a brand new. And also it's going to preserve it for a long, long time. So I can run my finger over it. I cannot scratch it at all. It's not going to come out that easy. And before, if I touch it, it fall apart. So it's looking good. As you recall, in the back, in the beginning, I thought it was a crack, but it's not a crack. It is pretty deep a scratch. I already removed some of them here. The way I did it, this is a product I use. Of course, you add some to paper towel. Again, I've used this product to clean everything. It's like a liquid sandpaper. Just some in paper towel and just rub it. That's what I did to remove this area. I might not be able to remove all of it because some of it is very deep. I'm glad it's not a crack. It's just a scratch. Something scratched it pretty bad. You need to be gentle. You don't want to press too hard to crack. This case is just beautiful, as you can see. That's a shame that this case, is such a bad condition. I'm trying to preserve this for her. I'm going to spend some more time to clean it, but I just want to show you quickly what you can do to get rid of the scratch. And see how shiny it is, more shiny than this side. Alright, let me continue. Now I'm going to just clean it with a clean paper towel. See, majority of that scratch is gone. Just did last a couple of minutes. If I spend more time, I can do a much better job. I just want to show you quickly. Much better. It's not that obvious anymore, as you can see. Majority of those scratches gone. Just a little bit left, but that was too deep. At least 90% of it is gone, those scratch. Alright, let's move on to the next thing to finish with this radio. Let's just stop the video here so it doesn't run too long. Next, I need to focus on creating a missing Arvin logo. Fabricate the missing knobs. Make a metal backplate since the original one is missing. And we will reassemble everything and test the radio. Wish me luck, since the radio was such a challenge to repair. At this time, I want to take the opportunity and thank my subscribers with their uplifting comments. You always encourage me to upload more videos, since this is just a hobby of mine. Again, I appreciate you. Enjoy all these videos, and you all have an awesome day. Take care. If you're interested to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified when a new video being uploaded. You have a great day.